Greetings, 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 wherever you are. It's another beautiful day, and we thank God for life. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for your support. We thank you for everything that you um, do for us. We appreciate you very much, and we say thank you for joining us. As always, thank you for joining us as always. Share to be a blessing for us. Share to be a blessing for us. Share to be a blessing once you get on here. How have you been? How is the week been? How is the family doing? How is everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for always joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for everything you do. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate you very much for your support, for everything that you do for us. It's another beautiful day, and we come your way once again with doses of encouragement. We come your way once again with daily conversations that would help us, that would give us insight into what we have to do next, give us insight into where we have to go from next. All right, so that is why we come your way every Saturday morning, aside the other functions that we operate in, aside the other things that we do. That is why we come to you. So you are very welcome for joining us. We will start in a few. Please share to be a blessing to somebody. Share to bring somebody on board. Tell someone that we are live. Tell somebody that a dose of encouragement is live, so they should join us. All right. Thank you so much for your support. We'll start in few. We'll start in few. We will start in few. But how have you been? If you have any comments or any answers, please feel free to have it in the comment section for us to be able to read it and answer any questions that we might have or you might have for you. All right. But you're welcome. We'll start in 2 minutes. Thanks so much for joining. As you share to bring somebody on board, as you share to help someone out, as you share to be a blessing to somebody. All right. We thank you so much for your support as always. You are very welcome to another dose of encouragement session. You are welcome to share this for us. Whoever is on here, thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thank you so much. I see you, son. How are you doing? Thanks so much for joining us. Please share to be a blessing for us. Share to be a blessing for us. Share to be a blessing for us as we do same. All right. Today, our topic is the 5 A's of personal growth. The 5 A's of personal growth and development. The 5 A's of personal growth and development, right? What are the 5 A's of personal growth and development? In our quest to grow and develop, in our quest to do well for ourselves, there are certain things that we have to do, or certain pointers that we have to pay attention to, right? Which would help us to move ahead, which will help us to do well, which will help us to move from point A to point B, as I always say it, right? So there are some pointers that we do have to follow in our quest to grow, in our quest to develop, in our quest to do well for ourselves, in our quest to get everything right, if that is the right word, right? We end up saying we want to grow, we want to develop, and yet most of us don't even know where to start. Most of us don't know what exactly to pay attention to. Most of us don't know what exactly to do in order to get to where we have to get to, right? So today's topic, the 5 A's of Personal growth and development is what we're going to talk about. But what is growth in the first place? When we talk of growth, what is it actually? Right? In layman's term, we'll say that growth is increment or an increase in something, right? An act of gradual increase, right? An act of adding to whatever we have, right? So an act of increasing, that is what we call gradual growth, right? We create gradual growth, or we progress as we build on what we have, as we build on what we've seen, as we build on the little that we have in order to get to where we need to get to, right? So the gradual increase or an irreversible constant increase in size, right? That is what we consider growth. That is what we consider when we what comes to mind when we talk of growth. Now you ask me, but what of development too, right? Because we're talking of growth and development here. So what of development, right? The process to create growth, right? Progress, change, or addition to our physical component, right? So I am growing, but I still need to develop myself. I am growing. I still need to build up on what I have. Those skills that I have, I need to build on it. Those skills that I've acquired or I've acquired during my growth period, right? I need to build on it. That is what we're talking about here, growth and development, right? So I said to grow, we need to apply the 5 A's of personal growth, right? And what are you asking me? What are the 5 A's of personal growth? We have acceptance in there. We have appreciation in there. We have action in there, adherence and awareness, right? So what is awareness? What is acceptance? What is appreciation? What is action, right? And what is adherence that we are talking about here? So, Amanda, if you're telling me that if I have to grow, I have to go through all these things, or I have to put all these things in perspective in order to grow, if that is the question you ask me, I will say yes. Right? In accepting, we need to accept who we are. We need to accept what we have. We need to accept what we're working with. Right? We need to accept what we're working with. In business, people might consider the working capital. What do you have in your hands? What exactly do you have in your hands for growth? Right? So accept who you are, both the positives and the negatives. Accepting it. Oh, I'm one person who get upset so easily. That is me accepting my fault, all right? Accepting what I have in hand, accepting what I have to work on. Right? So it is acceptance, appreciation, action, adherence, and awareness. Right? So in accepting, I have to excuse me, I have to accept the fact that this is what I have in my hand. This is what I am dealing with. This is me, right? You meet people and then they tell you, you either accept or leave me, right? You either accept who I am or move out of the way, right? So in accepting, we accept the fact that this is who we are. We accept the fact that yes, though we might have to work on ourselves, yes, though we might have to do certain things, yes, though we might have to work on A, B, C, and Z, but this is who I am for now. That is the starting point. It is like the process in that we go through when somebody is grieving, right? It starts with them being in denial and all that, and then they get to the acceptance stage, right? And then they get to the acceptance stage. So that is what we also have to do when we want to grow. That is what we need to pay attention to. That is what we need to focus on. What exactly do I have? What exactly do I need to change? What exactly do I need to manage or move in order to get to where I need to get to? So, Richmond, the last one is awareness. All right. So where do I need to, or what do I need to do in order to get to what I really need to, or where I really need to go, right? That is what we're talking about in acceptance. 1 second. That is where we need to get to, or we need to figure out. So in growing and developing, we do not need to accept, or we do need to accept ourselves in order to help us enhance on our effort, in order for us to enhance on where we're going from here, on what we're doing from here. Because if we don't accept who we are, we wouldn't be able to understand what exactly needs to be done, right? Accept the positives, accept the negatives. But people trying to filter out the negatives, right? And leave the positives. We meet people that all they ever do is to talk about our negatives, right? But when we want to grow and when we want to develop, we have to look at both. We have to understand where exactly we are. We have to understand where exactly we want to go. We have to understand what needs to be done, right? To be able to move from where we are, to be able to get to where we need to get to, right? 1 second. In order to get to where we need to get to, right? So I said, in growing and developing, we do need to accept ourselves to help us enhance our effort of growth. Accept all of you. Accept all your attributes. Accept all the positives, the negatives, the ugly and the bad, right? Because once we embrace that, it gives us room to work towards those things that we don't want. It gives us room to preposition the things that are good in our lives, right? I said, once we embrace every part of ourselves, not just the positive thing, we can reorganize what needs to be done in order to move on with our journey. So accept who you are in personal growth and development. Understand that this is me. I can change it, but it's going to take time. This is me. I need to work on myself. This is me. The things that are not pleasant, that I don't want people to talk about, I need to work on. Accepting in order to grow and develop. Accepting in order to make the necessary changes when it comes to our growth, right? So we do have to pay attention to this. Oftentimes we ignore it. Oftentimes we're like, oh, what will be, will be. This is me. It's either you take it or leave it. But if that thing is causing your, or it's hindering your growth, if that thing is preventing you from getting from where you are to where you need to be, right? Then you have to pay attention to that, right? So that is accepting or acceptance in personal growth and development. The other one that we have is the appreciation part, right? Be kind to yourself for what you are. Be kind to yourself for what you've achieved. Be kind to yourself for the things that you have going on. It could be that you're going through situations. It could be you're going through what have you, but appreciate what you have, because it is only then that you understand or you know exactly what needs to be changed. You understand exactly what needs to be tweaked. You understand exactly how what you have is to your advantage. It could be you going through struggles. It could be you going through trials. It could be anything, right? I said, be kind to yourself for what you have or what you have going on. It only makes you more accepting to what you have going on. It only makes you more accepting to your problems. It only makes you more aware of whatever you have that you're trying to ignore, right? It nurtures self-awareness and shapes our positive outlook in life. And being appreciative goes beyond just ourselves, right? It goes beyond me accepting or me appreciating the fact that I'm alive, me appreciating the fact that, oh, I have some good quality in me, and then the others are bad, right? It cut deeper than what we just see on the surface. Because when you appreciate the situation that you find yourself in, as I always say, you realize that there is always a lesson to be learned in whatever you have going on. Excuse me. Right? You realize that there is way more to whatever you're going through. But what do? We focus way more on the problems rather than the lesson that it comes with. Right? Rather than the lessons it comes with. So how are you appreciating your life? How are you appreciating the nuggets that is involved in your personal growth? Growing means that being able to better yourself, being able to do way more than what you're currently doing, right? Being able to put whatever you have in hand to work. So how are you accepting what you have, and how are you appreciating the lessons that you've learned from it? Most of us don't even know that in personal growth and development, there are certain things or certain factors that we need to focus on, right? We don't even know that because we think that everything that is set out for us is just to destroy us. Everything that is set out for us is just to hinder us from doing what we need to do. And so we don't pay attention to those. But if we're paying attention to these 5 things, we'll be able to do more, we'll be able to grow well, and we'll be able to develop, whether be it our skills or just developing ourselves. Right? So this is the situation I'm going through. How do I appreciate that? This is what I'm dealing with. How do I appreciate that for my personal growth? How about paying a little more attention to what you're feeling, paying a little more attention to what is going on, paying a little more attention to the things surrounding you? How about that? Pay a little more attention. Nobody is going to do it for you. No one is going to do it for you. Right? Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself if you want to see yourself grow and develop. If you want to see yourself improve. Right? If you want to see yourself improve, then you need to work on these things. Then we go on to the action part. What action are you taking? What exactly are you doing to help you grow? What exactly are you doing to help the situation or to help better the situation that you're facing? What exactly are you doing? What action are you taking? Sometimes we take actions that end up costing us. We take actions that end up making us regretful for what we did, right? Because we didn't take time to plan or we didn't take time to see what our actions or the results or the consequences of what our actions will be, right? But when we take time to position every action or everything that we have to do accordingly to whatever we're dealing with, it gives us more than what we should expect, right? So I said in growing and developing, we take actions that either hinders or help our growth. I salute you to my brother testimony. How are you? Right? So our actions hinders our growth or help us in growing. Right? Whatever action you take determines how you're going to grow. Whatever actions you take determines if there is even a chance for you at all. Right? If there is even a chance for you. We don't have the patience to wait for whatever we're dealing with to mature. We don't have the patience to wait for whatever we're dealing with to turn out for good. We don't. Why? Because we are quick to take actions. We are quick to say certain things. We are quick to do certain things. And then we end up regretting or we end up hindering our own progress. We end up hindering our own growth. Right? I said, notice your action by pausing and collecting energy to be sure you are checking those actions of you doing right by your actions. Sometimes we gotta pause. Sometimes we gotta take a breather. Sometimes we gotta hold on and say, hey, let me revisit this situation. Let me see what I've done so far. Right? Let me see where I'm going so far. Let me see my progress, my growth progress or my development progress. But guess what? You want to grow, but then you taking actions that are only pulling people away from you or that are only pulling resources away from you. You're not taking the time to think through that, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how I want to grow. This is me trying to develop or grow. But these actions of mine is preventing me. How do I fix it? We need to check ourselves. We need to check ourselves. Because in checking our actions, it only gives us time, that little window to reassess the situation and say, hey, this thing that I'm going to say or I'm going to do, will it benefit me? Will it help me grow? Will it help me develop? Will it help me get to my destination? Right? That is what we need to focus on. But if we are not doing that, and all we do or all we care about is scoring point, right? With whatever we're dealing with, then we end up regretting because we're not going to grow, right? Because we're not going to grow. What is your action saying about you? What contribution is your action contributing towards that growth and development of yours? Right? How are my actions hindering my progress, my growth, and my development? How is it? Because anything that you do, that at the end of the day, you end up asking yourself, why did I do this? Should be rechecked before we do it, right? So if I want to be the best at what I do, if I want to be the person that I can look back and say, oh, I am glad I went through this process because I've grown and I've developed, then I need to put my actions in check. Because in following the 5 A's of personal growth and development, it needs work. And it starts with these 5 A's, right? So we've spoken about acceptance, we've spoken about appreciation, and we are currently on actions. Your action determines your output. Your action determines your success. Your action determines how well you grow or develop, right? How possible is it that I am doing everything that I need to do, but I'm taking the right action, or I'm taking all these actions, but I am not growing? Ask yourself, are those actions the right ones? Are those the right actions? Right? Are those the right actions? Right? Oh, but I needed to do that. No. Will that help you develop? Will that help you grow? Whether it's personal growth, professional growth, or what have you, growth is the center focus on here. So will my actions help me develop? Will my actions help me grow? Will my actions help me get to where I need to get to? Right? I accepted who I am, the bad, the good, and the ugly. Right? That is where I started from. Because that only makes me know or make me understand that these are the things that I need to work on. These are the things I need to change in order to grow. These are the things I need to change in order to develop. And then I appreciated the fact that I'm able to see those. I'm able to know that. I'm able to understand that this is who I am. Regardless whatever the situation is, regardless whatever the issues I'm dealing with, this is who I am. Regardless whatever I went through, I learned from it. Regardless whatever I'm going through, I appreciate the lesson that is coming out from it, right? We've accepted it. We've appreciated it. Now, what exactly do I need to do in order to straighten things up, in order to align stuff up for my growth and development, in order for me to be that person, that role model that everybody look at and say that, oh, we are proud of you for what you've been through, for what you've gone through, and for what you've become? How did that one action impact my growth? How did that one thing that I did hindered my growth? That action that I took, how did it impact my growth? Does it make sense? That thing, that action that I took, whether it was in a rush way or whether it was me not thinking or you not thinking, that action, how did it impact your growth and development? Be it positive or negative. How did it impact it? Right? How did that impact my growth? Right? Because there is a saying that action speaks volume. Action speaks louder, right, than words. So yes, I want to grow. Yes, I want to be able to be good at that one thing that I do. I want to be good at that job. So what action did I take? I accepted the fact that I wasn't good at it. I accepted the fact that this job, I don't know, right? And then I appreciated the fact that, oh, something made me realize that I don't know this job, right? Now, what exactly do I need to do in order to get to know that job, in order to do well in that job? Are we going somewhere? Right? What exactly do I need to do? What actions do I need to take? I'm not good in that subject. I accept it. I know for a fact I'm not good in that subject. But I appreciate the fact that this exams made me realize that I'm not good at that exam or that subject. Oh, now my action will be to sit myself down and study. My action will be to seek assistance in order to be able to do well on the next exams. Right? That is the action I need to take. Right? And then now I've become aware of the situation. That is the next one. Right? Awareness. Being aware of yourself, being aware of your actions, being aware of your surroundings, being aware of the situation at hand. Right? Because when somebody comes to you and asks for help or asks you why this is that, why that is that, you should be able to know exactly what the situation is. You should be able to know exactly where you go from there. I think I see George on here. Let me add him. Hi, George.
Hi, good morning, and greetings to you all the way from Accra in
Greetings to
Ghana.
you too. How are you?
I'm well. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and we can't help but be grateful to God for the opportunity to be
Good, good,
alive.
good, 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 good. Yeah. So before you joined, I was on our topic growth and development here.
Hmm.
And we've spoken, or I've spoken about what exactly the 5 A's are, right?
Hmm.
And maybe I can pick your thought on what you also think. With so far, we've spoken about the acceptance, the appreciation, and the action part of the 5 A's that a person need to go through, or a person need to have in their pocket to be able to grow and develop well, right? So if we say, or I was saying something that in order to get to where one needs to get to, you first need to accept where you are. You first need to accept what exactly is going on with you. You first need to accept that, hey, the bad, the good, and the ugly, this is me. And I appreciate the fact that I know that this is what I have to deal with, right? And I also know that in taking such actions, it will either hinder my growth or push me to my destination, right? So, how does a person or how does one start to recognize such things, right? Such steps in order to develop and grow? Because maybe they think that, oh, this is not necessary, this is not important, right? The 5 A's of personal growth is not important. But how does one start to appreciate or start to understand that these things are important for growth?
All right. So thank you, Lady Amanda. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you on this very um, interesting, exciting, intellectually stimulating broadcast you do. I mean, it's such a good platform, and I feel honored to be on it.
Thanks for
Definitely, the 5 A's you're talking about. I mean, let me circle back to the fact that as humans, we are and so every day is an opportunity to be better at what we are or better persons than who we were yesterday.
Mhm.
That said, I would consider the 5 A's you outlined as a very comprehensive framework for us as individuals towards our journey of self improvement. And so, acceptance for me is being honest with yourself about where you are on the journey you are embarking upon, and being honest about your strengths, being honest about your weaknesses, being honest about your current circumstances. you know, we all have that part of our lives where maybe we just have to be honest about ourselves that look, on the scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is beginning and 10 is where we want to be, we are just at 3.
Mm.
You need to admit that truth to yourself. It is not about being judgmental, but you need to be very honest in admitting that this is where you are. But more importantly, you also need to be willing to admit for others that as much
Mm.
as you expect them to be somewhere here, because of circumstances, because of the quality of their strengths, because of the quality of their weaknesses, this is where they are now.
Mm.
And the consolation is that because they are not where they used to be yesterday, even though they are not where they want to be now, it's just a matter of time and opportunity. They'll get up in the ladder of their self improvement journey. And so I
But
think that
it only works if the person accepts.
that is why I was quick to introduce the adjective honesty. You've got to be honest with yourself about where you are. You've got to be honest with yourself about the quality of your strength. You've got to be honest with yourself about the quality of your weaknesses and be willing to make deliberate attempts at making sure that you are embracing all of these current situations with the intention of becoming a better person.
So what of those that um don't want to accept, right? The fact that this is what they're dealing with or this is who they are. Because as I said, in accepting, I think I've touched base on it, but since pardon us for us going back for the benefit of those that joined later. Being able to accept takes guts. takes a whole lot, right? For people to accept who they are, right? For people to understand that the ugly, the good, and the bad is part of me, and tend to be in denial of what exactly the issue is, right? Now, maybe if that is the case, once them being appreciative of the fact that this is life will give them the, I don't want to use the word ammo, will give them the upper hand in accepting who they are.
I mean, you have definitely hit the nail on the head. Again, I would say that you need to accept, in all honesty, where you are in your journey towards self improvement. The fact that you are unwilling to accept it tells a lot about your willingness to improve. And so it comes back to being willing to accept the fact that you may want to be X, but you're not there yet. But you are making sure you're putting in, and that brings us to the second one, which is the action, taking deliberate steps towards your goals, like you
Mm,
indicated. It's not enough to accept. Accepting is just one of the five pillars.
mhm.
But if you want to build a sustainable self improvement journey, it needs to hinge on each of these ones proportionately and equally with all equity. So you need to be willing to take deliberate steps towards your set goals and aspirations. And action is the game changing pillar. It is that which takes the the desire from just a desire to an actionable plan. And so, for anybody who desires to improve in their self improvement journey, it's not enough to have the desire or to accept it if you are not willing to commit yourself to actioning upon it, taking deliberate steps, taking deliberate actions towards those goals and aspirations.
So let's push forward. How so in with the five pillars of growth, right? We've spoken about acceptance, appreciation, action. And I think before you joined, I was speaking about awareness, but let's hold off the awareness for a bit and let's push on towards the adherence. How does that play in our growth and
So
development?
when you take a step, as with anything in life, it is okay to start it, but I would again want to introduce another verb, committed. You need to be committed to the
Yeah.
chosen path. You have taken a decision to be a husband or a wife. It is not enough to have said I do on the day of your marriage. You need to stay committed to that path. Staying committed to one path means that taking your eyes off the pleasures of the other paths and committing to the path that you have chosen to. You have chosen to take an academic pursuit. You need to stay committed to the nuances of that pursuit and taking your eyes and your mind off the temptations of the other paths, because there are others who have taken those other paths and they are committed to it. So adherence is a great pillar in the journey towards self-improvement, and it is that which makes you resolute in the face of challenges. Challenges will always come, but the bravado to stay committed, even when you're faced with challenges and setbacks, is a game changer and requires a lot of discipline, a lot of resilience, and a lot of willingness to stay focused and persist in the face of obstacles. There will be definitely obstacles. There's no journey to anywhere that does not have road signs and obstacles and bumpy roads and all of that. But your decision to stay committed will require the discipline and the resilience to push through and resist in the face of this, resistance and obstacles.
You know,
So endurance is very powerful and critical.
in personal growth, it doesn't only involve you, the only that person that wants to develop, right? It involves people that one way or the other will push you. So that means that you being committed to whatever path you've chosen, you also got to be committed to people that are involved in your personal growth, right?
Definitely,
The courses that are involved in your personal growth, right? You got to
definitely.
stick to the plan, if I can put it that way. But
Mhm.
oftentimes we don't. Oftentimes we start, and then if it doesn't work 1 or 2 months, we move on to the next. How then do we stand or do we stay grounded?
I mean, we are still saying the same thing. You need to acknowledge the fact that it doesn't come without challenges. It doesn't come without um, being decisive to stay to the course in the face of challenges. Challenges will definitely come, but you need to make it a decision, a very concrete, deep rooted decision that, look, I'm on this path towards my self improvement journey. I need to acknowledge the fact that this is what I've chosen to do. I need to acknowledge the fact that it will not come easy. I need to acknowledge the fact that I need to do it. Whether there are challenges or there are not challenges, I have chosen to be committed to this. And so I need to put in the work, put in the discipline, put in the resilience to make sure that I get it done in the face of the challenges, in spite of the obstacles.
Now, I know we keep saying, or you and I are basically saying the same thing, but let's be practical about it. Maybe somebody is sitting or watching us here and be like, oh, it's easier said than done. What are some practical things that can actually make a person grounded in their growth? We got to be practical with everyday stuff, everyday life.
I want to give you an example. So, for instance, there are various areas of personal growth. Okay, so let's narrow it down to one of the examples. So, for instance, you want to excel in your career. Okay, and you would have to acknowledge the fact that you need to start from somewhere,
Mhm.
grow through the ranks, and get somewhere. At a certain point, your focus may not have to be money or financial reward. Your focus will have to be the the quantum of capacity you build on
But
your journey.
financial aspect is also part of growth now. So how did you tell me to take that out, not focus solely on that?
I'm not saying don't get paid for your work. I'm saying that don't let it be your sole focus. There are other things that at a certain level in your career you would want to pay attention to. I'll tell you what, nobody would ask you, hi Amanda, 10 years ago, how much were you earning? Nobody would ask you that, but they will ask you, 10 years ago, what were you doing? Which job were you involved in? What roles were you playing? What capacity did you build?
Mhm.
Which training did you attend? Do you get it? And so if you build your career with the consciousness that money is great, but it's more important to build capacity because it is out of the built capacity that your value increases and sets you up for more reward for little or effort done. And so back to my example of a career path, you need to put in the work, put in the hours, make sure that you are serving as much as you serve, you are learning the ropes as quickly as you're learning the ropes, Make sure that you show up when you have to show up and show up well. As a young professional, don't be found doing things that you shouldn't, that will not make you stand out as unique among your peers. Eschew corruption, eschew laziness, and all of these things. Show up on time. Be the first to want to volunteer to do stuff. And these are the little things you can do to increase your self worth, even on your career path. As a student, you want to excel, so you're on the path of improving yourself in the area of your academics. Give your books the attention, give your lectures the attention, give yourself the opportunity to know what you need to know. Ask questions. These are practical things that you can do. Um, as a parent, you want to excel at parenting. There are very basic things you need to do to make sure that you're excelling at parenting. I've always said that this generation is a very difficult time to be a parent because the kids are exposed to more than we were exposed when we were growing up. And so you need to be very dynamic in your parenting. You need to be very willing to evolve, willing to adapt. The kids of today don't take stop it as an answer. They'll question, they'll fire back a question at you. Why should I stop it? And you need to be emotionally intelligent enough to understand that they need to know the why. So every journey towards self improvement um, has their own practical ways of ensuring that you are truly committed to improving. And like I said, irrespective of which journey or path you find yourself, there is so much you can do or so much you need to do, but you need to commit to ensuring that you are not just casually deciding to improve, but you're admitting the fact that improvement comes with work, improvement comes with discipline, improvement comes with the resilience to surmount obstacles and the resilience to face challenges.
So thanks for that. And I think we're just gonna touch base on the awareness part, right? In being aware means that being capable of self-observation, right? And most of us do self-observe, but then we're not able to, I don't want to use the word differentiate the good and the bad, right? We are able to self observe, but then not everybody knows how to interpret it,
Mhm.
knows how to, let me use the word digest. So how do we start, or how do people start to be able to digest whatever they're being observed
Could you please
about?
take that again?
I was saying that in awareness means that being observed, right? Being able to be in the known, be aware of what exactly you are, what exactly you're going through, where exactly you are, and what exactly
Yeah.
needs to be done. But
Hmm.
most of us don't know how to interpret it or how to use that to our advantage when it comes to growth. How then do people start? What are some things, or what are the things that people can do in order to be able to digest or interpret whatever it's being observed about ourselves? Because if we say we're growing, then and we are observing, we should be able to use whatever is being observed to either push ourselves or take it out and replace it with something better if it's not good.
I mean, like I always maintain, Amanda, we do not pride ourselves as being receptacles of all knowledge. Okay. For what you don't know, somebody knows. And it takes humility, it takes wisdom to acknowledge the fact that you don't know it, but you need to know it. And so you seek wisdom or you seek knowledge. And so for me, On the path of awareness, what you don't know, there is nothing wrong with asking the person who knows how the person got to know and
Oh,
what
but
the person
George, I don't know how
decides
to
to
go
know.
about asking. Or Amanda, I don't know how to go about, like, I'm not that person. I feel it difficult to ask anybody for anything. So what other ways can I do that?
No, so I was going to say that you need you need to know, right? If you don't know, it means there's a knowledge gap somewhere, and there are different ways of acquiring knowledge. And I touched on the first one being asking the persons or the people you think know. The other way is to look for the other alternatives of knowledge. You know, fortunately, our generation is excuse me, our generation is blessed with various ways of sourcing for information. And so, if you truly want to know about something and you don't want to ask someone who you feel is more knowledgeable about it, you can find other sources of getting to know it. But the bottom line is that your ignorance will hurt you, and so you need to make sure that you put in the work to know what you have to know because you need the knowledge to oil the wheels of your self improvement. I mean, if you are too prideful to not want to ask, then you should employ wisdom to find.
You took the word right out of
Otherwise,
my mouth. That was gonna be
otherwise,
my next question.
otherwise, you'll be the one to lose out in the long run. You either have the humility to ask, or you deploy or employ the wisdom to find out. Anything short of these would would shortchange yourself and shoot yourself in the foot.
Thank you so much. This is really an insightful conversation, and I don't even think with the 1 hour that we have, we're able to exhaust everything. Viewers, if you have any questions, please feel free to put in the comments section, and we will do well to answer it for you, or we'll try our best to answer it. So before you sign off, George, what is your final word for somebody watching us? Somebody who wants to develop themselves, somebody who wants to grow, somebody who wants to do well for themselves. You yourself are an entrepreneur. So somebody who wants to go on that route, what do you tell that person in terms of personal growth and what needs to be done?
Simple. I'll just be willing to share with the person that look, um, we all need to work towards living or cultivating a fulfilling and meaningful life. We all deserve fulfilling and meaningful lives. Meaningful lives deserves or requires work, requires discipline, requires resilience. It doesn't come just because you desire it. You know, desire is great, but it needs to be backed with proportionate action,
Mm,
deliberate, you know, a deliberate routine at ensuring that your desire is not left just at the portal of desire.
mm, mm.
It requires work, unfortunately. And so we must be willing to put in the work that is required to give us the desire that we want to see. If you want to pursue academic excellence, go to school, attend attend your lessons very intentionally. If you want to improve your health, eat right. There are things to do. You know, get yourself a training, a fitness routine. If you want to, I mean, for every fulfilling life you want to lead or live, there are things you need to adhere to. And once you commit yourself to those routines, it's just a matter of time. You begin to see what you want to see. So my final words or my parting words would be that no matter where you are starting from, you deserve a fulfilling life. Unfortunately, it doesn't come by wishful thinking. You need to put in the numbers.
All right, viewers, as you've heard, thank you so much, George, for joining me today on today's episode. Thank you so much. I appreciate the effort that you put in for ADOEI as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, and you have a good one. So, viewers, thank you so much. As you all heard, you need to commit to something. You need to put in the work. You need to adhere. You need to accept. You need to appreciate. You need to accept. You need to understand that certain things need to be done. Certain works need to be put in order for you to grow, in order for you to expand and develop, right? Because in doing so, it only helps us to face what we find in ourselves, our traits, our defense mechanisms, and what have you, right? So we do need to put in the work in order to grow, in order to develop to where you need to be or where you want to be. One need to follow these five A's of personal growth, right? And then to recap, we said the five A's of personal growth are the acceptance, the appreciation, the action, the adherence, and the awareness of one's situation, awareness of oneself, awareness of everything that involves us, right? This topic is broad, and I don't even think we even touch half of it, right? Because there are other letters when it comes to the personal growth and development. They are the D's of growth and development as well, which we'll look at and bring your way. But as we go out this week, let us focus on what these five A's are. Let us focus on how these five A's can help us improve, how these five A's can help us develop, how these five A's can help us better ourselves and move from one point to the other of the spectrum, right? It is only visible, or it is only productive when we put in the work. It is only productive when we focus on what needs to be done. We all want to grow, we all want to develop ourselves. And so let us take time to look at these five A's of personal growth and development. Thanks for joining me. If you don't know what this is, it's a Dose of Encouragement Incorporated. And my name is Amanda Akrofia, your host and founder of A Dose of Encouragement Incorporated. Thank you all so much for your support, as always, as you join me every Saturday, right? Unwaveringly, every Saturday to bring these to you, or for us to have a conversation about life, for us to have a conversation about the things that would benefit our lives, the things that will help us grow, or the things that will take us on the right path, right? So thank you all for joining me. As I always say, I love you all so much, and there is nothing you can, absolutely nothing you can do about it. All right. If you need anything from us, if you need assistance from us, feel free to send us a message on our website, www.adoei.org. Use the messages button, and we will be able to reach back to you. If we are not in the position to support you, we will do our very best to direct you to the right path or the right people for support, right? Also, this year, our social impact project is upon us once again, and we call on you guys. We call on your support. We call on your help. We call on your assistance to help put smiles on that little child's face, on that lady's face, on that school child's face who need assistance in making their day brighter, right? As we always say, and as our motto is, given is not just, and as George will say, given is not just about the amount, or it's not about the amount that you give, but it is about the heart behind the giving, all right? It is about the heart that cares enough to give. It is about the heart that cares enough to spare something small for that fellow, to spare something small for that child, to spare something small for that woman who is in need of anything essential to make their day brighter, right? So if you are in the position to support us, if you are in the position to assist us as we go unwaveringly year after year to support these orphanages, to support these children, to support these people, individuals, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on our business page on here, Dose of Encouragement Incorporated, or you can reach out to me on my personal page, or you can even decide to check our website out, as I stated earlier, www.adoei.org. Or maybe you just want to be a partner. You say that, hey, I want to support you guys on monthly basis, on quarterly basis, on yearly basis. You are so more than welcome, because I believe in building a home away from home. I believe in building a home where nobody will be judged, a home where people would have what is needed. It might not be much, but we are helping eradicate global poverty in our own small way, in our own little way. It doesn't have to be much. It is about a thought that counts. So join the train, join this worthy cause, join this purpose, and let us put smiles on the people we support faces. Your support goes a long way to help them. Your support goes a long way to give them smiles or put smiles on their faces on a daily basis. Thank you in advance for even thinking of helping us. If you want to stay anonymous in those help that you want to give us, there is a way to do that as well. On our page, there is a donate button that you can choose to be anonymous whilst donating, or whilst helping push this cause, or whilst helping push this vision to where it's supposed to be. Use that button or use that means to reach out to us. If you're not a tech savvy, or you're not on the net, and you say that, hey, how can I support? I don't know anything about internet. There is also a Momo number that you can support us on. If you are in that position, reach out to us and we will be sure to help. We'll be sure to give that out to you with joy, because we know your support will go a long way to help that child, to help that lady, to help that gentleman that is in need, that is on the street, that needs clothes on their back, or that need food to eat. Thank you all so much. If you don't know who I am again, my name is Amanda Krufiaye, and I am the founder and host of A Dose of Encouragement Incorporated, a company whose sole mission is to see people happy, whose sole mission is to contribute, is to impact life in our own small way. Thanks so much for joining me today. And as we go through the day, as we go through this Saturday, have a blissful Saturday, a fruitful week ahead. And until we see again, please share this video to help somebody. Share this video to be a blessing to someone. I always say, don't be a blessing stopper. Share this on all platforms for us. Get us that exposure that we need, because somebody might need what is in this in order to turn their lives around. Somebody might need what is in this in order to make an impactful decision. Thank you, and thank you. Until I see you again, I sign out. Kisses to you all. Stay blessed. Bye.